But most of our ideas are not our own. That's kind of whoa, wait a second. Most of our ideas are downloaded. Most of our personality characteristics are not really ours in the truest sense. They're just habits we've created that have worked to some extent and have become solidified over the years, and this becomes our normalcy. The freedom in this is being able to establish new patterns, new personalities, and this idea of discernment between the voices that you hear and the thoughts that you're thinking and what's really you and what's really of value. Now, this is really exciting. And I know I've spoken to a few of you with this before, but in terms of the Zen practice, can you discern between these different thoughts, these different voices, knowing which is which and where is where and what player on your stage, because there's many players and they're all you, different versions of you, which one is speaking? Which one do you feed? Which one is muted and stuffed in the corner and told to shut the fuck up? Like these kinds of things. And being able over time to recognize, to familiarize yourself with these different aspects of you is a very important part of the practice. Now, the fine line with this, not to get ahead of myself too much, is can you do this without becoming too analytical? Can you do this without getting too involved in your own story? So it's a little bit of a balance act. But let me go back to this idea, for example, about my thoughts not being my own. Okay, so it's been a year. I think next week will be officially a year of the initial in Ontario lockdown with all the shit. Congratulations. Cheers, everybody. It's been a fucking year. And a lot's changed. And I was talking to my wife last week. I'm like, what are the things that I've picked up that are good in terms of this year? And what are the things I'm going to carry through once lockdown is over? What am I going to maintain in terms of, my life? What have I learned this year? Like, this is an important way to assess myself, right? Okay, so a little bit of a story, if you mind. When I was young, I went to a monastery and I met this monk who was quite brilliant. And I've always been an avid reader. And I asked him, what's he reading these days? And his answer was, I'm not reading shit. I refuse to read any books. He was kind of a dick in a good way. And he said, I don't want other people's ideas in my head anymore. I want to focus on what I'm doing here. And I thought, this guy's a total douchebag. Like I was really upset with what he had to say because I was reading tons of material back then and I have my whole life. But last year when when the Rona hit, I haven't read a book in a year. I've usually got 3 or 4 books on the go. I got 2 on my phone. I got a couple on my house. I'm always picking things up. I haven't read a book in a year because of all the information coming through in terms of media, of all the information coming through in terms of the books I'm reading. What am I doing with my life? Am I trying to emulate? Am I trying to be influenced? Where's me in terms of what I need? And I don't concern myself with what so-and-so needs. Even if they got a brilliant idea, and they probably do, it's not going to be my path, and it never would be my path. So I'm becoming a little bit of that douchebag.